to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. Racks on racks on racks, stacks on stacks on stacks. I am so glad to join you guys tonight because we're going to talk about exactly that. I've got some time allotted here before my next client comes up at 10 p.m. So I have a few things. I have something coming up for my girls and my friends, my guys and girls that I want to talk a little bit about makeup. I have something coming up, a little reading. We're going to do some Jenga relationship and some sparkly animals. It's been a while and I'm feeling sparkly today. I'm feeling good. And we're going to get into this. So, for those of you that clicked on this video and aren't interested in any of those things, let's get right into the subject at hand. We are going to talk about money manifestation and your ancestor altar. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. Hey, Brian, blessings to you. Sorry I've not contacted you. I'm trying to come out of a bad situation, horrible, and I'm keeping my wits through though. Okay, bless you. Listen, we are going through a Scorpio full moon, eclipses, and major endings, so I'm not surprised at all to hear that you have that going on, Brian. I'm going to be sending you so much love, and I'm going to light a protection candle, which is going to be black, to help some absorb that energy and just pray for you. I had scanned my email, but I was like, I don't even know what he's going to be emailing me from. So I looked for your name, but I didn't see it. So I imagine that you had not popped up yet. So I'm glad to know that I didn't just miss it because, y'all, me and my email is a whole situation. Okay, now back to the message at hand. Sending you love, and anybody in the comment section, send Brian love as well. If you pop in here, he is one of our collective, a divine masculine, and we love to see it. All right, so let's get into this money manifestation. This is something that we all definitely need to have and want to have in our life. One of the things that I want you to understand, the primary things to understand about money manifestation is a lot of us do it on our vision boards. A lot of us wish that we have more, but none of this will work unless you believe your worth, unless you believe that you are deserving of what you are getting. None of this will work, guys. So that's what I want to first communicate. So you can do every single tip. I'm going to run through 10 organic tips and kind of things in your kitchen you may be able to use to help aid and bring that in. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do as well and that are done around the world. And I'm going to be talking about what I do specifically for me as well. But what I want you to know is none of it works unless you believe it. I have wanted to have abundance and create that in my life in so many ways, and I wasn't able to do it until I really believed that I deserved it. And when I believed that I deserved it, the world believed that I deserved it, and it started to flood into me. And one of my manifestations and mantras is that I don't get up and go to work. I get up and work comes to me. And so you need to create mantras and manifestations that work for you and that are very much in alignment with who you are becoming or who you want to become. Don't just stay stagnant. If it feels like a bar that's too high, let it be a bar that's too high, and watch how your angels and ancestors will break their neck to make it happen for you. For many, many years of my life, you know, my bestie can attest, if she would come over in my bathroom, in my shower, I have a huge manifestation board up there about what I want my life to look like. It is literally over the shower. God bless the patience of my husband and any guest that comes here. I manifest in all ways. And when I worked in a corporate America office, I actually redecorated the bathrooms and put manifestations on the back of the door at a doldrum corporate American office where they treated me terribly and paid me, you guys know my story, $10 an hour for 10 years. We all have been in the trenches where something wasn't right for us and we were trudging along. I made less than so many people that I knew, and now I out-earn people that I knew, and sometimes people that were hating on me too. But God has a way of turning that around when you believe in you, and that's what I'm here to do. So we're going to bump up your self-belief juiciness so that you know that you can come into alignment. There are a lot of things that do that. We have sacral crystal singing bowls. Self-esteem, the color yellow is associated with that creativity. The root chakra being edified, the color red, which is associated with our family, our finances, our grounding, what we believe about money. Now, I have people in my family. I had one parent that was a powerful manifester. That was my father. I have him here because we will be talking about it from the ancestor altar. Oh, that's him on that side. I had one parent that has limited money stuff. Yes, thank you for the red roses, Brian. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had one parent that has limited limited money stuff. That's my mother. She still to this day works, God bless her soul, and has for almost 40 years at the same facility and dealt with all the things that come along with that. And I love her work ethic, but I have channeled it into my own work ethic, but just in a way that was nuanced, that she couldn't understand for many years and that she doubted and questioned. So much so that I had to separate myself from talking to her about my finances because she couldn't believe that I could manifest what I have, the amount, the time, the energy, the whole thing. So I know my worth, and then the world responded, and that's what I'm going to pass along to you. So it's important that you believe in you first. Again, nothing changes unless you believe in you. Nothing changes unless you believe in you. For 10 years, I was at the same job making the same dollar amount, and that spoke volumes about my self-belief. The second I decided I was worth more, the world said, yes, in fact, we've been waiting. Because the universe is no respecter of nuance. It's very direct about what you think about yourself, and it is going to answer and say, oh, this is what you think? Excellent. We will concur. So let's talk about some of the first things. Let's talk about an ancestor altar, first of all. Because, my lovies, an ancestor altar is something that's not sacrilegious. We all go to church or have, and we understand that in churches there are altars. So let's talk about what an altar is specifically. It's a table in a Christian church or in any church, because there are altars in every single religion. There are altars, okay? So do not get caught up on Christianity if that's not your jam. If you're Hindu, if you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim, there are altars. There are sacrifices given. In the word that we do when we do communion, this is my body given to you, eat this in the remembrance of me. This is our way as Christians of honoring the body of Christ that was shed as he shed his blood. You think about that. Everybody's always so freaked out about other practices people do, but Christianity literally practices a charade of cannibalism in order to honor the Christ, you know? So guys, don't get lost and caught up in everybody's stuff, okay? Got a mosquito bite here if you see me repeatedly itching as I was coming in today. So the table in a Christian church, which the bread and the wine are consecrated in communion services. It's a table or a flat top block used as a focus of a religious ritual, especially for making sacrifices or offerings to a deity. So that's what an altar is in its technical term. But what we're going to do is get that very nuanced down to what works for you. And that's where I'll be sharing with you tonight some of the things that specifically work for me. What I want you to understand is that you need to understand your ancestor. So whoever has crossed over, even if you don't know them specifically, like I happen to know one of the ancestors specifically that work with me. I know two. And so I put out offerings to them of their favorite foods or things that they liked or things that they enjoyed. I put out their favorite flowers. I have some here in backup, so I will show you. For my father, he was an avid, voracious gardener. He was fantastic. I can kill anything that is a plant in no time. But bougainvillea was one of the things that he grew so beautifully, so effortlessly. And so I always keep bougainvillea on deck. And I have a bag here that's unopened, but around my ancestor also, because I didn't want to take it down totally. But I said, I will show you guys. I have bougainvillea. So he had these bushes in front of this gorgeous, pristine white fence that was always power washed and immaculately kept. And I grew up with bougainvillea. And you say, well, how do you know your dad would want bougainvillea? Well, I was sitting in traffic one day, or sitting at a restaurant, eating outside of a restaurant in the parking lot. And I saw a truck pass in front of me, and I had a lot of imagery and communication from my dad and that day. So I knew that he was very much kind of communicating with me. And I saw a truck in front of me pass that said bougainvillea, and on the ancestor altar, what I had was red poppies, because red brings in financial blessings. But he was very specific, and he was like, no, I want bougainvillea. So now on the ancestor altar, there is bougainvillea, and it was this color pink. Bougainvillea comes in a myriad of colors, but it was a landscaping company, but the word that was the biggest on the truck was bougainvillea. It might have even been named bougainvillea. And so it was so specific, that's how I knew. I want you guys to trust Lean in and trust your intuition about when your ancestors are speaking to you or when your angels are speaking to you. At first, it's in a foreign language and it seems a little strange, but they're always communicating. And if you pay attention, you will really hear it. And I heard it. So I was like, say less, Dad, got it. I'm on the way. So I picked up lots of copious bougainvillea. Now, your ancestor altar need not be the biggest thing in your house. It can be done on a, yes, listen and look for signs, as Brian says. It can be done on the most small little kind of square. You can keep it quite simple. I'm a little extra if y'all haven't been able to tell. And my father was extra too. He lived out loud. He was absolutely brash and debonair, and he had great fashion sense, and he built huge houses and edifices. So I know his style and what he liked because I remember it. So I honored him in that way. My dad wouldn't want a little altar. He wanted the most, and so the most is what he has, and it's growing as he directs me to do so. So that's one of the things. Now, another staple on your ancestor altar is absolutely a picture of the ancestor you want to honor. Now, this is a picture. If you have one of you and the ancestor together, even better. If not, it doesn't matter. Just their energy, and this is more for you than them. So do you see, guys, here? This is my dad. I was playing doctor with him. This will be like the cover of a book someday, or at the inside flat for sure. This is the beginning origins of an empath here, because what we do as empaths, we're always seeking out the danger. My dad was a terrible narcissist and was bipolar and was incredibly abusive. And you say, Monette, you're giving all this like due and like praise and laudation to a person that treated you that way? Yes, because as he crossed over, he understood our ancestors are still doing their work when they cross over. And the way he's come in and rode for me and avenged me and blessed me and saw fit for me to have blessings is so unbelievable. I would never have thought. And it was so specific that you can't make it up. As Brian says, listen and look for the signs. We have a deep connection. He came through in seances. He's come through on driver's license plates. He's come through on billboard signs on the sides of trucks. I get messages from him all the time, and it just delights my soul. He validated that the bestie in my life was the right one. Like, he does very specific, nuanced things. I even have one of that. If you scroll down on my community page, I put up a post of my father's name was Moses. That wasn't his real name, but everybody called him Moses. And I put up a post where an indigenous person was being honored and talking about business acumen and whatever, and my bestie happened to like catch that. She said it to me, and it was on a night when I was praying about business and finances. She didn't know it, but it was my dad's way of saying, not only do I sanction this bestie, but I sanction what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and I'm proud of you. So do not doubt that your ancestors see you. So a picture on an ancestor altar is very important, okay, for your money manifestation. Now, you can have your vision board and you could be writing things, but we know about those are part of the law of attraction stuff that we all do. I want to kick this up a notch. In every place in our life, I want us divine feminines, our empath crew, our earth angel collective, our light workers to be elevating. We deserve blessings. You know, in the Bible it says the meek shall inherit the earth. But listen, guys, we are not supposed to be paupers. And while I'm not teaching out here craft low dollar prosperity energy, create your own prosperity. Don't rob from Peter to pay Paul. Don't steal from parishioners that are impoverished. Create your own net worth. Raise your own vibration. And if that's through business or whatever that is, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have an LLC, then know that you're deserving of that because you're pouring time into that. But you have blessings from your ancestors that will befall thee. Another thing I did to enhance this was many years ago, before any of my before anybody knew who I was, before this was my life fully, I knew I had my gifts. I've been doing this since I was a kid, a teenager, at parties, always a little thing. I didn't understand it was a real thing. It's a real thing. It's turned into a really real thing and a lucrative thing. The reason I say that is you never know what your gift will do for you. And in the church, one of the songs I used to sing in children's choir was "Stir up the gifts." Hey, stir up the gifts. We all have gifts. Just because I do this doesn't mean you can't do that, or that you couldn't do this too. There is enough for all of us. And when we're not living in a poverty consciousness, you will manifest exactly what's right for you. So stir up your gifts. It's what your ancestors would do. My ancestor here was incredibly talented. He was gifted. He was an artiste, truly, ahead of his time. And he has signature style in his house building. Even so, I pretended that I was going to like buy his house just to get a walkthrough many years after he had passed away, and I was there with a guy I was seeing at the time, and my boyfriend, and so we and he was, but that boyfriend was wealthy, and so we were like, yeah, we're gonna buy this house, and at the time it was listed at 500,000. It was in the Keys, and so we're walking through, and the realtor was telling me about the builder of the house, not knowing that I was the builder's daughter, and the way he spoke about him just touched my heart, because he was like, he was a true artist, he was ahead of his time, he built the bank, he built this, he built that, he was talking about all the things that I was at as a child, some of these builds with my dad erecting houses for doctors, and erecting the library and doing this and that. So I knew my style. I knew it came from the West Indies, and it was so cool, a full circle moment. Maybe I'll put the house up there. When I was in St. Croix last year to officiate a wedding, I got to go see the first house that my dad built, which was so huge I almost couldn't get it in the camera. I couldn't even believe that he built that house for himself. It's so big that it is now a housing apartment. They turned it into apartments. I can't imagine him clipping through those hallways, just him, the child at the time that he had, and the wife that was in his life at the time. It is unfathomable to me. I wrote a post about it on my Facebook, but I will share some of that with you guys in the community page, because that's what I come from, it was just someone who was very creative and could think outside of the box and could decide he wanted to build a castle on a hill, and he did it. So I went to his grave. So let's get a little bit morbid here as we're in full moon of Scorpio time. I went to his grave. Full moon in Scorpio, for those of you that are wondering, deals with the occult. It deals with our deepest desires. It deals with our ability to manifest. It deals with other people's possessions and finances, because Scorpio rules taxes, money, other people's possession, finances, things of that nature. It deals with obsession. It deals with the things we fixate on. So capitalize on that energy and use it for your good. So I went to my father's grave many years after he died. And hey, Belinda, hey, thank you so much, Belinda. Welcome in. So I went to my father's grave many years after he died, and we did not have a healthy relationship on this earth. It was incredibly tumultuous. He left me with the scars that left me open for narcissistic abuse in other areas. Very much he cleaned up on the other side and was like, this is why this is happening, because of me, and it will never happen again. He stopped, and it's, oh, I love when we get an audible thing. I am one of the last people in the world that has a landline because of the work that I do. But my landline is ringing. I'm not going to answer it. Hi, Dad. Oh, y'all, I have goosebumps. Thank you so much. That's my dad coming through. So you can't make it up. He heard me when I was standing over his grave. So I went to his grave, and we had a tumultuous relationship. And I said to him, I said, I want a portion of what your gift was. I said, on this earth, you left me with so much baggage. I carried it in my body. I carried it in my soul. I carried it in my brain. I carried it in my spirit. But you were creative, and I am too. And at the time I was catering, right? That was what I was doing for a living. And I am too. But I want a portion of the gift, just like you. You owe it to me. See, I wasn't going there with niceness in my heart. It wasn't kumbaya. I wasn't singing a happy song. I was demanding what I was owed, which is very biblically shown to us, that you don't have to be sweet about knowing your birthright, right? So your birthright, sometimes people stole their birthright. They tricked their parents. But if they asked for it correctly and they got it, they got it. It was passed down to them. So my father didn't leave me anything in this life. He didn't leave us a dime, which is funny because he ended up being quite wealthy in his life. He didn't pay child support. He didn't do any of that. But I knew, as a spiritualist, as a metaphysical practitioner, which I wouldn't have called myself then, I knew that I had access to him. And I stood on his grave, and not in a mean way. I did bring an offering even then. I took my paints, because I'm a painter as well. I painted 2 palm trees, and I painted the letter M&M. My name is Monette. His name is Moses. I will tell you no lies, that when he wants to get my attention, he puts an M&M before my eyes. I can be in traffic, I'll see an M&M, just those 2 letters on a billboard, or I'll see it on a license plate. He is very, very clear with me, just like that phone ringing, when he knows that we're communicating, and it just delights me. But I painted that, and what happened was, that happened, and then years later, I started to see the 2 palm trees on a license plate. Now I live in Florida, guys, so that's not so abnormal, but the 2 palm trees with the M&M with an angel number, that's very specific. And for those of you that know, you know, and my computer just lit up on its own. For those of you that know, you know, he was absolutely communicating with me. He knew that I was there that day, and I wasn't happy with him because we didn't leave on good terms, and I didn't cry at his funeral. Okay. But when it came time for me to say, you owe me this, I expect it from you. I am the generational curse breaker. I am the children out of your many, because Papa was a rolling stone that will shift. I am the first one that will make this kind of money. This is my portion. This is my birthright. You are a creative person. You deemed yourself a king. You birthed yourself out of poverty, and he was functionally illiterate to the day he died, and was an entrepreneur that paid many and housed and fed many. But I said I deserve this. So I'm saying this to you, not just to tell a fun story, but to let you know that even if you don't know your ancestor, you can say a portion of whatever your gift is belongs to me, and I'm here on this earth now, and I'm going to execute it properly. Help me, guide me. Don't be cocky, but be expectant that you deserve to have that portion. And when I tell you he showed up and showed out, he absolutely has. Love to see it. So here's how I enhanced it. My dad loved money, so I built him a altar that was one that was portable. I'm going to bring you a piece of it so that you can see it. I love that he played the cards he was dealt. I'm very specific about everything. On the back of it, if you can tell, it says number 8. It's the 8 of spades. My dad, but which would be the 8 of swords, which was anxiety, literally. Because if people can read cards from cards, and I can as well, the 8 of swords would literally be confusion and anxiety. So what I've done is I've turned the confusion and the anxiety he left me with all of his issues on this earth, into me bringing clarity to other people's confusion and anxiety. The number 8 is symbolic, and it's not only the month that I was born in, but 8 is the number symbolic of abundance across the board. 888 turned on its side. 8 on its side is the number of infinity. Infinite information looping in and out of each other, never ending. Nothing is coincidental about your ancestor altar, guys. You get it? Be very specific to the information and the knowledge that you have, and ask for the downloads that you need. In here, you can see his flag, which is Nevis St. Kitts. Coincidentally, I have family that is there right now. And then I even have a St. Kitts and Nevis playing card. You guys see that? I literally sought out St. Kitts and Nevis playing cards. Now here you can see it's filled with juicy fruit and gold coins like a pirate. My dad loved money, and one of the things that he did was he kept those huge 5-gallon glass jars by every single door filled with money. So I wanted to honor him with actual coins. You guys see? So this is just a piece of the altar. I will not show you every single thing, because you need to use your own creativity and do what you need to. But know that there is bougainvillea, there is a juicy fruit, which was his favorite gum that would be in a candy dish. I'm getting goosebumps on the right side of my head. Right as masculine, my father is here. Hi, Dad. Yes, we're making it. We did it. He loves to be talked about. He was a Libra, and he was social, and he loved it. So juicy fruit. His breath was always fresh. His teeth were always like white. He brushed it with charcoal way before that was cool. And there was also always a candy dish of juicy fruit that was available at all times. All kinds of candies, because he loves sweets. And that's another thing. You will offer to your ancestors the sweets, the alcohol, the tobacco. If they liked weed, whatever they liked, leave some of that around the altar too. Of course, to make it sanitary, so you don't attract bugs or anything like that. But that is what I did. So I knew I wanted something constantly sweet there. So I filled this with juicy fruit, as you can see, and it is on the ancestor altar. Now, in order to enhance this, though, let's kick it up. Remember what I said? Let's kick it up. I also added ancestor money. Now, this is something you can find on Etsy or Amazon, and it literally says ancestor money. I'm going to see if I can hold it up for you here. It literally says, do you guys see it? Over here in the green stripe, paper ancestor money. Now, they have it for everybody's culture, so you can get it in whatever you want. It can be from Asian culture, it can be from Indian culture, it can be multicolored. It says $1,000. It literally says, of course, not for public use, but it's $1,000 bills. And I order this in bulk, and I burn ancestor money every single day. Okay. And sometimes I write on it what I want to write on it about what my manifestation is going to be. Now, this is why I'm teaching this to you, because I love for all of us to have the leg up. Yeah. This is so powerful. This is when I really noticed that money started literally like attracting to me. Like I couldn't even believe. Even today, I woke up to a text from my insurance agent who said to me, oh, I filed a claim about this really random thing that you didn't even know you had on one of these incidental policies, like from an Aflac policy, and they're going to cut you a check for this. I'm working on another one because they're going to cut you another check. Now, and let's do that full circle, how your ancestors will pay you back. So before I get into the fullness of the money, You guys know me talking about me having to relearn how to walk, being sick last year, being in the hospital. A lot of you guys that are A1 day ones watched me film from the hospital for months as I was in rehab, and it was terrible. Well, I never talked about what exactly happened, but I had a very specific, nuanced thing happen that was so uncanny, never to be likely. I didn't cause it to myself. It was like a freak, weird thing, and I almost died. Near death experience, a lot of content that I produced about it. Well, as I laid in the bed, I heard clearly from my angels, we will repay you for this. But I just thought I'm going to get my life back. I'm going to get healthy. I didn't die. That's repayment enough. I was very grateful. But I didn't think I was going to actually get money back because my insurance agent happens to be one of my dear friends. Y'all have heard me talk about her, the bulldog, the one that has rescued me from Alabama, the one that has been just like, she came to the hospital and advocated on my behalf when she felt like I wasn't being treated well. Good evening, Miss Laura. Hello, hello. And so she has like, she's an eagle eye. She's one of the top agents in the country, not the state, the country. I'm so proud of her. Such a rock star. And she said, you know what you had, and one day I'll make a video about it, guys, but it's so specific. It's like on the second list of this incidental policy years ago, because my father, let's come full circle, passed away from cancer. My father passed away from cancer, and it was colon and all that stuff. And I have all kinds of stomach colon issues with my house, 7th and 6th house in Virgo. It's very much a part of my thing. My sister right now, I have a sister who has stage 4 colon cancer. So it was like freaking me out, and I was starting to have like a weird thing. And she was like, years ago, she was like, I want you to add this rider to your policy. She's like, I'm not trying to upsell you, but you need a cancer policy. Well, one of the small fine line riders in this cancer policy, of which I am cancer free, thank God, but one of the small riders in this cancer policy was for this specific thing that happened to me that was so freak you couldn't even imagine it. And she called me a few months ago and she was like, Monette, my angels, because she's very spiritual, there isn't a friend I have that doesn't tap into their own stuff. I love it so much. I love my soul tribe that God has bought me. And she was like, my angels tapped me and they said reread Monette's policy, because what she had, because she came and visited me in the hospital, she came to me with rehab, she brought my goddaughter to me, the whole thing. So she was like, what you had is in your rider, and you can get paid so much a day for all the days you were in the hospital. And y'all may not know the full, but I was in there for a minute, from the emergency life-saving surgeries to weeks in rehab, relearning. And she was like, you're allowed to have this much a day for every day if we can make sure it's sanctioned and clears through. So we've been in the process of it. And today, on this day of our Lord, she said, I got a little check for you. And then I got another check that's a little bigger. And there may be one more too. I heard that in my hospital bed, but I didn't understand that I'd be literally actually repaid. I thought life, as I said. This is the ancestors' way. My father definitely thought about filing a malpractice suit because his thing was diagnosed wrong and whatever, but that didn't happen and he passed away. That was his lot in life, actually, for it to go that way for him, to clear up karma and a lot of other things, believe me. But I know for a fact that he oversaw that to a degree, because I am not one that pays attention to that minutia. I hate all of that, and that's why I hire good people, a CPA, an insurance person, all that stuff, because I don't love it. It makes me nutty. I like to do this with you. I want to be the vision bearer. I want to be the communicator. I want to be the creative. That's my calling. That's my life path. And so I would not have ever thought about that. I just pay my bill every month. Yeah. It's a cancer policy. I don't have cancer. I'm not cashing it in. Amen. I'm grateful. But she said, oh, yes, you will cash it in, because, and it still stands, meaning, oh, thank you so much, Miss Laura. Yeah, I'm serving a little bit of the 80s over here, a little graffiti, a little bit of extraness. But, you know, it's something that my ancestors did. That's how your ancestors work for you. See that full circle? My father passed away from an illness. An illness almost killed me. And he said, the money I did not collect from the malpractice suit I could have filed is now handed down to thee. Maybe not as much as he should have gotten, but let me tell you something. I didn't even know I was getting anything. That's how your ancestors work on your behalf. They will literally literally tap you on the shoulder and they say, tap me in. It's like wrestling, which is so funny. My dad is so here right now. We watched wrestling together, WWE, all the way back in the day. So literally tag me in. Ric Flair, woo! Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and Jake the Snake. Yes, yes, yes. And he showed me a few snakes too. My ancestor do what it do. Anyway, so that's how your ancestors work for you. I couldn't make it up, but that is also because I've been honoring him and being like, money comes to me. Whatever other ancestors are out there. So you don't have to know your ancestor personally to know what they are. So if you know your ethnicity, look up what that culture enjoys and likes and build your ancestor altar around that. If you don't know, or the ancestor was never in your actual life. So if you're Asian, then maybe you want to offer things that are akin to the Asian culture, like mooncakes or those sesame balls or whatever, because ancestors love sweets, or whatever tea, a matcha tea brush might be out there for someone that enjoyed that. If you are African, then things from the diaspora that would support that. If you are Spanish or Latin American, things that would support that. Do you guys make sense? I mean, I'm not even kidding, like Tajín or whatever. Like, you do what works for you. If you are Caucasian, if you are German, if you are Eastern European, then you put out what your ancestors might have enjoyed that worked for them. So you don't have to overcomplicate it. Use your intuition, dial it in, and get it out, because your ancestors will figure it out. And then what will happen is they will guide you. Remember I said I had the red poppies up, and my dad was like, if you don't mind, could you put up this bougainvillea that I think is mighty fine? And I listened to him, and the bougainvillea is up, and he is pleased. All right, so that's what you need to know about that. The ancestors are listening, and they actually give you the money. Now let's talk about what we do with the ancestor money, and then we're going to go on to talk about the 10 kitchen things, the 10 things that might be in your cabinet or fridge that you can use to enhance your ancestor altar or your manifestation rituals. When I say rituals, that means lighting a candle, writing a note underneath it, whatever the case may be. So I have my little cauldron here. Yes, yes, yes. Relax, any haters out there. And this is only because it is functional and it is heavy duty. So I have a cauldron, and what I do, and I won't be able to do it fully on camera for you. Let's see if I don't catch myself on fire here. And my laptop too, because we're not done with the laptop. We'll put Dad down. Bear with me, guys. All right. And we'll put the ancestor altar over here. So for those of you guys that didn't see, it is a cauldron and it has a lid. You can use a pot, you can use a pan. It doesn't have to be anything. I write down whatever my manifestation is on my ancestor money. Again, you will find it on Amazon or Etsy. Buy whatever you want. It's called Jinn money, or I don't know. There's all different names for it, but you can just Google ancestor money. You'll find it. This is in $1,000 bills. I write down whatever it is that I'm wanting to manifest, and then I light it. I light it from the bottom, and I let it catch light. As you can see, it's caught light. I light it from the bottom, and then I lift up my cauldron and I literally slide it in. You guys see me sliding it in to my cauldron? It's in my cauldron. I let it burn. You can see the smoke wafting and then I cover it. So we have a full blaze going. Okay. You can see like the flames burning down in there, and then I cover it. That's it. I don't even let the smoke dissipate. I let it stay in there. If I feel like I need to manifest at a more rapid pace, I could burn as much as I want a day. You get a lot in those packets. I think they're like $13 or $14, depending. I have tons of it. So let's repeat that again. It's time. I would write down my manifestation. I burn it from the bottom. I pray a prayer. I ask my ancestors, my angels, and God, everybody to be here. You can ask in any order. I drop it into my cauldron. I let it do its thing in my cauldron, and then I put the lid on it, and I say thank you. That's one way that you can accelerate your ancestor financial abundance and you, okay? So that's one way, and I think that that's one of the more powerful ways that I've learned in the last, couple years, and it's really paid off really abundantly. So go get your ancestor money. Get a pot, get a pan. If you don't want a cauldron and you're ick about it, let's say you're a whole Christian and you're like, sis, you trying to make me witch. No, I'm not. Get a pot or a pan with a lid that you don't burn down your house. That's all I'm trying to do, is not have Fire Marshal Bill and you have to have a discussion, okay? You do it in whatever safe way you want to, but that's how I manifest. Now let's talk about quickly the 10 things that you can use that are in your kitchen or in your home in order to drive this point home regarding your ancestors. So let's talk about it. The 10 herbs. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here is alfalfa. So it's also called lucerne. and it's a flowering plant. It's commonly grown as an important forage crop in many countries. So you guys see that on your salad, alfalfa sprout. So you can literally get it. It's a green superfood that's abundant in vitamins and minerals, especially an excellent source of vitamin K. You can find that at your local Whole Foods, your local Publix, your local whatever. Um, mm. The properties of it that are very magical for manifesting. Its gender is feminine. It is a Venus plant. It is associated with Earth. It deals with prosperity, anti-hunger, and money. So you can keep it in the home or your household to kind of stave off hunger and poverty. The best way to keep it is in a small jar with your cupboard or pantry. You can also burn it and scatter the ashes around your property for the same purpose. People have also used the herb in various money kind of like just like this. So like if you want to just burn some in your pot as you're doing your ancestor money, that's going to help. Almond. Almond is a tree species, as you guys know, and we eat the edible seed of the tree. Its gender is masculine. It's mercurial, associated with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It's air, and it's prosperity and wisdom. So it brings woods and leaves of the trees into various work that you would do. And you can climb, they say there's a lore that if you climb an almond tree, it will bring success in business ventures. And if you eat almonds, it will cure fevers and give you wisdom. Now, guys, I'm not a doctor, y'all. These are notes that I'm taking from the internet. Please do this at your own discretion. People also use almond wood to make magic wands because it's an herb of the air, so that elemental ruler of the magic wand. Moreover, if you put it in your pockets, it will lead you to treasure. So that's a little fun thing to know. Number 3 is basil. Basil is a native tropical region, which is Southeast Asia, and it's widely used as a culinary herb. So you guys know that. I was just talking about figure out what your ancestry is. So if you are of Asian descent, basil would be something you would put on your ancestor altar because it is indigenous to your people. So it has many magical uses for prosperity. You can carry the leaves in your pocket to attract wealth. You can use them in a cash register or under a doormat to help you attract more customers at a business or in your own home. And so that's one way. Number 4 is blackberry. Blackberry is an edible fruit, which you guys know about, and it's commonly seen as used in our baked goods and all of the rest of it. It's feminine, it's Venus, it's water, healing, money, and protection. Use the leaves if you would like to burn them in your spells. For when I say spells, I'm talking about you're speaking wealth over yourself, okay? You're incantating that you're bringing finances into you, all right? Bergamot, which is a scent. So if you don't want to find bergamot, you can burn a bergamot candle from Bath & Body Works, guys. Get creative. But as long as the essence is there, you're going to be bringing in the energy, which will enhance the acceleration of your monies. Amen, amen, and amen, okay? So let's talk about bergamot. Masculine, Mercury, air, and money is what it deals with. You can put bergamot leaves into your wallet to attract money. Its fresh leaves can be rubbed into money before spending it to ensure that it returns. And it's also used to bring success. So you can burn it or you can burn that candle, because I have bergamot candles. I have all kinds of candles that I use for different things. Cinnamon. Now, I have little kits that I make when all that's up and running and everything. And I literally have packaged up tons of cinnamon that I give out in some of my kits because cinnamon is fantastic for prosperity. So it's a spice which is obtained from the inner bark of spice trees, and it's widely used, as we know, in all of it, and it's pumpkin spices. And so cinnamon is one of the main ingredients in a pumpkin spice blend. Its gender is masculine. It's associated with the sun, Leo, fire. It's dealing with spirituality, success, healing power, psychic powers, lust, protection, and love. So cinnamon is very powerful in every kind of way. So it's one of the most popular major herbs, and it's used for money, and it's called the sweet money spice. So you can burn cinnamon. I sprinkle cinnamon over my altar. At times, you can use cinnamon incense to raise your vibrations. You can burn a cinnamon candle. It draws money to you and it stimulates your psychic powers. Cinnamon can also be used in making sachets for prosperity. That's why I include a little pouch of it for certain things that I send out. Mint. Mint is a perennial herb, which means it grows all year round. You guys can harvest it if I have an arrow garden, so I always have mints, but you can grow mint all the time, or you can get it from your local grocery store. Very fragrant leaves. It's often used as a kitchen companion and an herbal medicine or garden accents. It's very easy to grow and harvest at home. So if you want to try your hand at being a bit of a botanist horticulturist there, to grow a little mint plant or see if you can keep one alive. Get one from Trader Joe's for $2.99 and see how long you can keep it alive. Its gender is masculine. It's operating out of Mercury, air element. It deals with money, lust, healing, travel, exorcism and protection. So I use mint when I'm doing protection work. I will scatter dry mint leaves around a black candle if I'm actually protecting myself or protecting a client that's dealing with harsher energy. Like tonight, we just talked about it at the beginning of the video. Brian is dealing with a lot. Now, we haven't spoken, but I sense that he's dealing with spiritual warfare from outside energies that aren't wishing him well. Brian, you can confirm or deny that in the comments if you would like. So I already, before I said anything to him, I said, I'm going to burn a black candle for you for protection. But in my mind, I knew I was going to put mint around it because I feel like he's dealing with outside energies that are in trying to infiltrate his mind and trying to get him to think lesser of the magical earth angel and empath that he is. Brian, I got you, and your angels have got you too. So mint's powerful for protection, okay? And it's definitely something that you use for money and those prosperity spells specifically. It leaves a wonderful, crisp scent, and it brings in powerful opportunities to attract money. It's the simplest way to use, like it's one of the things it's a go-to. I keep all kinds of herbs because they are go-tos, and you can sprinkle all kinds of these herbs into what you're doing, and it really, really helps things. So it helps also, you can put it in your wallet and rub it where you keep money because it's going to attract nutmeg, which is one of my favorites. Nutmeg reminds me of my mother and comfort and cream of wheat, which now I don't eat wheat, but it's cream of rice. And I still use nutmeg, the ground whole nut, to enhance things. I do it over my my little thing there so that I can like enhance whatever. I love the smell of fresh burning nutmeg. Its gender is masculine. The planet Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So if you're studying astrology, Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and expansion is how we grow in all ways. So this is about luck. Element, it's fire, and its powers are luck, money, health, and fidelity. So nutmeg I use when I'm wanting to make sure that couples are staying healthy together. If I do a prayer for them and I light a candle, and I'm just like, okay, angels, you guys guide them back to each other naturally. We don't do love spells over here. You can't make anybody love you, but you can enhance a love with nutmeg for certain, okay? So you can make a necklace out of it. Tonka beans and star anise to make an herbal necklace. This herb effectively wards off rheumatisms, neuralgia, cold sores. Guys, again, I'm not a doctor. And boils. People use nutmeg in various money situations and sprinkle it on green candies for the sole purpose of enhancing things. Okay, camellia. Camellia is a flowering plant, and it's originally originated out of Eastern and Southern Asia. Again, find what is indigenous to your culture and your people. It's a feminine gendered plant. It's associated with the moon. So this is fantastic for full moon, when you're doing your full moon releasings, because we're creating on the new moon, right? So when you're doing your full moon releasing, even on your cycle, my ladies here, this is a wonderful plant for this. It's associated with water. You can put it in a bath, okay? It's associated with riches. It's a magical power. It's all about riches, and it's one of the herbs for money. You can try to use it in more and more things that you do as you're manifesting money. Place the fresh blossoms in a vessel that contains water on the altar during your prosperity and money rituals, or sprinkle a couple flowers into your bath and do a divine feminine bath. I make tea baths for that stuff too. And then number 10, John the Conquering root. High John is also John the Conqueror and is a folk hero from the African American folklore. Its root is said to be the root of the Impanema japalea, a species related to potato and morning glory. So even if you can't get this, y'all, you can get some morning glories, okay? Morning has broken like the first morning. Its gender is masculine. Its planet is Mars, which is the god of war, associated with Aries. It's fiery. It's about money, love, success, and happiness. So for my African American people, if you don't know specifically which part of the diaspora you are from, this is a plant that you can use that is indigenous to your energetic ancestry. Does that make sense? You can anoint High John the Conqueror roots with mint oil and put them in a green sachet and carry it to attract money. It's also associated with the magic power to stop depression, bring success and love. It is a simple way to use these 3 roots. Make a cut into them, place them into a bottle of vegetable oil, and after a few weeks, use the oil to anoint candles for the purpose of attracting finances, okay? So you can use a dry herb kit. You can find dry herb kits if you're like, I don't know where to get all this stuff. Look on Amazon, y'all. Amazon has everything. They have little dry herb kits that have all kinds of little things, and I'll make a video and show you guys that. So if you don't have that, I shop in bulk. Let me see if I can get out what I have here. It's like precariously placed right behind the camera, so I may be able to like wiggle this out. Right behind where I'm filming, because I should have taken out the drawer first, but let's see here. So red clover, which is used for love and marriage. I found this at a store somewhere when I was traveling. Let's see here. I have co-motherwort, also used for protection. So this is the reason I'm showing you this is so that you know. I have spearmint. Remember I told you I keep mint on hand. Fantastic for love. Sprinkling into your thing. Cohosh root and valerian root are some of the things I have here as well. I also have, see, I told you it was so cool. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get myself rebalanced here. Okay. All right. So let's see. I have I have rosemary bundles. I have fern tree bundles, which is, this is like actually pine. I have pine and rosemary. I have all kinds of sage. I have all kinds of bundles. Guys, I do this work for real. I do this work every day of my life. So I keep myself a full stash of all the things that I need to enhance the work that I am doing. So that is a real thing, to enhance the work that I am doing. All right, so that's what you can do. So if you can't find all those herbs, you're like, Mona, I am not trying to have an herb garden with red clover flower. Fine. Use prosperity candles, guys, because using a candle is a good way to help you manifest abundance. The reason I love candle work so much is because it sets an intention. You can see what you're looking at, you can pull it in, and you can manifest it. Does that make sense? You can pull it in and you can manifest it. You can pull it in, you can manifest it. That light is an attraction point. When I pay homage on my ancestor altar, I light a candle and I say, hi, Dad. It's simple. I don't do a full ritual. I don't bow down and turn around 3 times. I just light a candle because it's my way of saying, hey, I'm here. What's good? How you doing? We working today? Is we working or not? What's good? How you doing? All right. So use a candle. There are all different kinds. Bergamot is mentioned here in my notes, but they have soy wax. When you light it, just say your affirmation out loud and take a moment to visualize it and then relax. It's not that thing. That's candle work. It's not magic. It's not witchcraft. It's like, oh, guys, I'm asking for help here. Amen. The end. It's that simple. Prosperity oil, which they talked about making your own with that John the Conqueror root. But pastors have the blessed oil. Guys, get a good olive oil because that stays liquid at room temperature and doesn't like solidify like coconut oil. Get a good virgin olive oil, and then you can add whatever herbs you want. I make my own oils all the time. You can add it to your bank receipts. You can add it to your bag. You can use it to anoint a candle. Candle anointing is a thing that we do, and it just helps to enhance it. You don't do it too much. We're not trying to catch your house on fire, but it's done. Also, light the candle, visualize your dreams, and meditate for a while. You can use it in kitchen and cooking. You don't just have to put it on things or burn it. You can actually eat it. So much of what I've talked about tonight is edible. Blackberries, almonds, mints, nutmeg, okay? So use it for that. And then literally just talk about that. And in conclusion, understand that this is not going to be immediate, but these herbs are so magical and have properties that have been used for thousands of years. Chamomile, bay leaf, bay laurel, thyme, ginger, and clove. They're highly effective in other areas, not just prosperity, but they do have additional money magic uses. So if you want to explore further, there's a whole encyclopedia that I have that I really go for, and I wrote down the name, Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. So it's a complete guide to this if you want to. I'm a nerd. I keep an encyclopedia about everything, y'all. If there's an encyclopedia about crystals, I have it. If there's one about this and that and whatever. Because there is not magic in what we do. We are a collective. We are earth angels, and God gives each of us assignments to bring that information through. It's not my job to write an encyclopedia, but I sure can buy it, support it, and read it, and then it enhances the work that I do. I'm not teaching you something I created. I did not invent the wheel. I am flipping through the pages of a book, and I'm bringing the information to you. So that's what you need to know about money manifestation, just to take your game up a notch. Invest in some ancestor money. Okay, you will be surprised. You know what really this is about? It's not that there's magic in this or in the burning. What the magic is the daily intention to write and communicate what it is you are manifesting. It's just a fun way. As a teacher, I'm always looking for fun ways. As a former teacher, guys, I'm always looking for fun ways to engage my adult collective in tactile, fun ways, just like we would when we were a kid. So yeah, you can write that on a piece of notebook paper, but if you light something up and you write it down in funny funny pens. I keep all kinds of interesting pens. I taught a seminar in the West Indies recently, and it was titled Divine Feminine, You Are the Doctor. And because I wanted to make it super fun for my participants, I made sure that they went home with all kinds of interesting little things in their kit. But what I ordered for them, and I have some here, was a bunch of pens in various colors. I'm going to show you guys here. See if I can get another color out. It's a vibe all the time. It's a vibe. Okay, so I have a few colors here. So what I did was I ordered pens because I wanted to remind the Divine Feminine that they were the doctor. So I have pens here that are syringes, okay? Because you are writing the prescription for yourself. You are the doctor. You are creating the medicine. And the most intense medicine that you have is your power of speech, manifestation, and creation. So I literally wanted them to go home with their own little pen. Like we can all go home with a pen that says the name of the conference or what my name is or my business. But this is a reminder that you are the doctor, that your word is your wand, quite literally. It's your prescription, it's your salve, it's your poison, and it's your power. So write that out well. So with my little syringe pens, I write out in whatever color I want to exactly what it is that I want to manifest. And I recommend that you do it because that's when you will see the best results. You cast a spell over yourself, and it's not a magic spell of evil, and it's not making you a witch. It makes you a powerful person who knows that what the Bible says still rings true today, that life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death over your finances. Oh, they hit me there. Life and death over your finances, life and death over your body, life and death over your relationships, your personhood, life and death over your careers. It's in the power of your tongue. If you speak it and say it, then you must want to see it. So be careful what you say, because in fact you will be it. It is nothing but a thing to God that hears you, to your ancestors that want to help you, and to your angels that bless you. They ask that you do it, but do it carefully. They ask that you do it daily. They ask that you do it repeatedly, and watch them break down the doors and bring you ultimate prosperity. And so it is. So good sharing energy with you guys today. I love that lesson so much. Play with your money. Play with your food. Play with your life in the best way to make it fit and work for you. And talk to your ancestors too. They're waiting. They just want you to say what's up. If you really want to get a deeper understanding, this is the preschool teacher in me for sure. Watch Coco and understand exactly how our ancestors love when we honor them. I love that movie. Coco, or it wasn't Lilo and Stitch, it was the other one, Moana. Yeah, the one where the rock is singing often. Our ancestors never leave us. It is exactly like those cartoons. Coco is so fantastically good regarding understanding that they just want to be honored in this life. And when you do that, they will make sure that you live a life that is abundantly right. The lights just went out. That's all I'm supposed to say. Come back and join me another day, and we will continue to evolve together. Oh, I gotta check the messages. Everybody's saying ha 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 hi. Hey. I love pens, all the colors, all the sizes, shapes. I write certain colors depending on my mood. Exactly, Brian. And that's how you also enhance your manifestation. Depending on your mood, you write in the color. So manifesting for me is all about red specifically, but also blue too when I'm wanting to be clear, or when I want to be paid for the work that I do. I write in blue because that's associated with the throat chakra. So you figure out the colors that draw you. It doesn't have to be textbook, and it doesn't have to be all aligned with our sacral and solar plexus and chakras and all that. What makes you feel good? What lights you up inside? What makes your inner kid want to go outside and play and ride your bike and be out all day? What makes you feel young again, or 10 again, or 15 again, where things were infinitely possible and the world was still your friend? If that's the color that lights you up, then that's your pen. And get out your ancestor money and write about your prosperity again and again and again and again. Love you guys. Come back and join me next time. We'll continue again to evolve together.